My name is John Handshoe, and I do teach at Hazard High School in Perry County, Kentucky. I'm not 100% sure why we ended up spelling chemistry with a K, but it seemed like a good idea at the time when we were applying. But I teach all sciences, or most all of the sciences at the high school. And in chemistry, throughout the course of the year, there's always opportunities to take the chemistry and apply it to something that is maybe not particularly out of a textbook. And basically looking at people from this area over the last 150 to 300 years, there's a lot of skills that will apply directly to chemistry. We've had a lot of students demonstrate quite a bit of interest in that. So this year we decided we would try to pick out one or two skills that were pretty prevalent in this area over the last 100 years or so, apply chemistry to them, and see how it worked out for us. So this is the origin of our grant. We picked out for the first installment of Kentucky Chemistry, we picked out soap making. Soap making is a process that is so full of chemistry it boggles the mind sometimes. So basically what we are going to be doing with this project, my students and I are going to go through, we're going to make a batch of soap sometime here in the next couple of weeks. I've been saving up some bacon grease here and there, and we'll probably have to go out and buy some. But anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to be teaching these guys how to actually produce what we locally call lye soap. I don't know if you know it or not, but the name for lye comes from an Arabic word. It's called alkali. Which means from the ashes, by the way, if you interpret that, interpret that. Lye soap is short for alkali soap, which means you take an oil, basically an animal fat, and when you introduce a really, really strong base into it, it basically breaks this big complex molecule down into a molecule that's polar on one end and covalent on the other for all intents and purposes. That means if you have something, if you mix oil and water, you've got your oil floating on top of your water, they don't mix. When you introduce a soap into this, these soap molecules align so that it allows the water, which is a polar molecule, to mix with the covalent organic molecule, the oil. And this whole process of making soap, we call it soap making. In chemistry, we call it saponification. But the kids are looking forward to this, and as this project progresses, what's going to happen, once these kids feel comfortable with this, we're going to organize through social media a little event in Hazard on a weekend where we're going to teach a few members of the public. They're going to come in, they're going to make their own soap from scratch. We're looking at some other projects that we might do later on if we have time. One of them's turning cream into butter, pretty simple process. And needless to say, we've had a couple kids very interested in the fermentation process, but we're going to avoid that one this year. So, but the way we're going to evaluate this program is we're going to rely on surveys given to workshop participants. So if any of you guys ever have any ideas for any projects that we could add to our list for future events, I'd love to hear them. And does anyone have any questions?